Hindi na maitatanggi na ang climate change isa sa mga nangungunang usapin na kailangan ng agarang aksyon. Ang extreme weather events na dulot nito itinuturing na ring isang threat sa global security. Ang migration, human displacement, disaster relief and response. Paano nga ba matutugunan? Upang maipaliwanag ang lahat ng yan, we have a special guest this morning, Akshay Potatil, ang co-director ng Center for Information Convergence and Strategy o CICS. Good morning, Potatil, and welcome to Panahon TV.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, Potatil, can you tell us a brief background on CICS?
CICS is the Center for Information Convergence and Strategy based at San Diego State University. We are there as a platform to bring in large sets of data, visualize the data, and help folks understand what this data holds. For example, it could range from healthcare all the way to government, military, or law enforcement information.
All right. And we are talking about here the climate change, and they say that climate change is a serious threat to the global security. So can you walk us through what is the link between the climate change and the global security?
Sure. There are major cities that are developing at a very rapid rate. So people are now densely populated in coastal areas and major metro cities around the world. So as disasters take place, as climate change has an impact on the weather, as roads wear out, as landslides and fire, all these things take place. When you have very dry conditions for a long time, when you have high heat, such as, for example, in California, we have a large amount of wildfires. And these things take a huge impact because people have built and they've moved into areas where it was nature at one point. Okay. So the migration of people and changes over time has created a condition that requires planning, preparation, and mitigation, so you can minimize loss of life and property during an actual event of catastrophe.
Yes, and what are the existing threats to our global security? Can you give us example of where and how they occur?
So, for example, when you look at what is happening around the world today, there's large amount of humans that are moving through space, right? Geographically and geopolitically, there's a lot of threats that is causing people to move. They go through various conditions, right? Climate conditions and environmental conditions, and some of these folks are not, first of all, prepared to live in those scenarios and conditions. So they are not even equipped because most of them are displaced due to various reasons, such as war. And the lives are lost in actual transition, the migration. So one of the things our center does is we study people as they go through time and space.
All right.
And it gives us a better idea in terms of how to create suggestive solutions or preparations with government entities, private entities, non-governmental organizations, and so on how to prepare people to enter an area, how to prepare people along the transit, and also people who are living in such as conditions as Manila, right? What are the threat that comes into the region? I just came here from Chennai. There was a large flood that took place, and the water caused when entered a lot of slum areas, and people not only are they getting sick and impacts from the water, the flood itself, but there are other diseases that come through from the water running through toxic waste and so on, right? So what kind of platforms can help in such environment?
All right. So we are talking about here the communities or the
Yes.
different communities. So how do you think that can climate change trigger conflict among humans or communities, especially for those who is migrating or?
Absolutely, right? Traditionally, what are wars fought over? What are people? I mean, human beings have certain traits and natures. People fight over what haves and have-nots, right? They have this, I would like to get it.
Yes.
The whole nature of conquering and warfare is about this is something that we want, whether it's materials, resources, so on. Environment becomes a resource, right?
Yes.
The condition of lifestyle becomes a desired, value-added product that people want to consume, right? Living in good part of town where pollution is not there, living in places where there are more green energy being used. That is kind of, and you can see that. You can see it in large urban towns and areas where people move outside of it because they feel there's less pollution, And that is already a war in the field of real estate. There's a war that's going on in business world. There's a war that's happening in multi-level. It is not in the sense of martial law or martial war. It's in the sense of there's change in business which forces people who doesn't have the wealth out of it. There's many things that happen as part of resource change which are sometimes triggered by things such as environment, weather, so on.
Alright. So, ayan, no, marami tayong narinig mula nga kay Potatil at naintindihan natin na yung mga ibang pinanggagalingan nitong climate change at yung epekto pa sa ating global security. So, umpisa pa lamang yan ng talakayan. Marami pa po tayong malalaman sa aming pagbabalik.